So when we talk about particulate matter 2.5 or PM 2.5, what we're talking about is suspended particles in the air that are smaller than 2.5 microns in width, which means that those particles are smaller than 1/30th of a diameter of a strand of hair. That's how small they are. Really, our issue for PM 2.5 occurs during the winter months when people are using their winter wood burning appliances in their homes. Because it's so small, it can stay suspended in the air for weeks even. So that means you can continue to breathe it in even after the source of where that is coming from is gone. When we breathe it in deep, it results in an inflammatory and an irritant response because it shouldn't be there.
When I'm out running in the woods or exercising, when it's smoky, I can feel it. My sinuses fill up. I feel headachy, I feel unwell.
My husband also works away all winter, and he works in the mountains. He skis all day, and so he's in the fresh air. When he comes home for his week off, instantly his eyes start to itch, and he notices right away that he reacts to the wood smoke. And that's been happening for years, but we didn't put it two and two together until a couple of years ago, and it's just like, it's so obvious.
Some of us are more susceptible to poorer air than others. So younger population, children, babies, the older population, seniors, and as seniors live older, they become more frail. But also that big part of the population that is in those ages between but still have underlying health problems, which is about 40% of the population.
I unfortunately have inherited an autoimmune deficiency, and that has impacted my sinuses and respiratory. I'm finding that particularly in the evening, there is visible smoke, and it literally affects me in going out and just to a store or an activity in the evening, and I can't really be in that smoke without it kind of affecting the lungs.
I'll talk about my daughter, who's 13 now. Last winter, she was complaining that her eyes were really hurting a lot. When the doctor saw her, and his conclusion was that basically she was having an allergic reaction to the wood smoke in the air. It was causing her eyes to react, so he had to prescribe a prescription drop to take away the reaction, and basically told me to not let her go outside.
So I first moved to the Valley in probably 2009 and started working as a family doctor in Cumberland. And what was really apparent at the time was the number of patients who were themselves new to the area, who were coming in with worsening symptoms, respiratory symptoms, so their breathing was getting worse. They were finding that they couldn't go out. People were very aware that when it was smoky outside, they were having to barricade themselves inside their own homes, people with asthma, COPD, and with heart disease. I spent a lot of my time discussing with people what they could do about it, and I remember myself saying on repeated occasions that you can only leave.
Emotionally for me, I really want to leave Cumberland, and I want to move somewhere where the air is clean. Like, I really feel trapped in my home in the wintertime, but that's an expensive proposition, and my kids are really invested in the community. Their friends are all there, so spending a couple more years living in an area of unclean air versus pulling them out of their community is a struggle that I kind of think about a lot, and it really bothers me, but I don't really feel like I have an out at this time.
I've heard a number of stories of people having to move. They've left their neighborhood or even in their entire community because of the impact of wood smoke on their health or their family's health. I know of people who leave in the winter time to get away from winter wood smoke because of its impact on their health. People are spending more on medications because of wood smoke pollution. People are buying and running air purifiers all winter. I know that's what we do in our house, and it's costing us money. There's a big range of health effects from wood smoke pollution that are proven. And so of course, if we have that many health effects, more people are going to the doctor and more people are going to the hospital, and that's costing our whole healthcare system a lot. So we're all paying out of our pockets.
So air quality should be a concern for every one of us, no matter where we are. So the air is something that all of us can't negotiate around. We all need to be able to breathe. So when you have spikes of PM 2.5, again, those small particles that people can breathe in deep. We do also see associated spikes in hospital presentations, especially for heart disease or underlying lung disease. There is no safe level of air pollution.
It has been maybe more of an emotional toll because you're not feeling well, because you are feeling sick because of that smoky environment. So I would think that's in some ways been a greater toll. And as you're coming down into the valley, you can see this gray smoke that actually encompasses the whole region. And it's a fuel issue. So you feel a little bit frustrated too that we can't, possess our own clean air, have our own rules and regulations that provide that air for us. It's there, I know it is, because it's at the top of Mount Washington.
People don't want to pollute other people's airspace knowingly, and we just haven't thought about this. So I think it's really important people start looking at the amount of pollution, smelling it all the time when they walk down the street, being concerned that a teacher smells wood smoke in her classroom and on the schoolyards is very common. So what are our children being exposed to?
Those same carcinogens that we see in tobacco smoke, we see in wood smoke. Benzene, toluene, all those chemicals that cause cancer, they're all there. It's very comparable.
Because she's had this allergic reaction, she loves riding her bike to school, walking to school, but it's just not worth it. Her health is more important, so I just don't let her basically exercise outside. I totally understand why people love it, but at the same time, when you live in a concentrated area with lots of houses around and knowing what the health effects are, the science is there, if you can't dispute it.
When I do walk by and I see the smoke filling the air and I get home at night and I can smell smoke on my clothes from wood burning stoves, and I think about my 2 children, 5 and under, breathing that in and thinking about the development of their lungs and the risks for their future, the increased risk of heart disease, the increased risk of lung disease. I'm really not sure why in 2018 we still believe that wood smoke isn't causing harm.
I think wood heat is going to be a thing of the past. I mean, it was a great thing of the past. Many of us loved it, but it is one of the dirtiest fuels available to burn, no matter what kind of stove you burn it in. And I think we just have to move away from that. If people care about the air they're breathing and their families are breathing and their neighbors are breathing, they're going to want to transition to cleaner forms of heat.
We have a heat pump for our house, and we do have some natural gas as well for fireplaces, but it is so much less expensive, easier than any other heating source I've ever had, and I love it. We have air conditioning all summer, and our carbon footprint is small because we chose to buy a house with a heat pump in it.
We need incentive programs so they can buy the appliance for their house. We need to keep other sources of energy affordable. We need to cap the number of stoves that are going into houses so that we don't get increasing amounts of pollution. We start reversing the problem. We need to be able to protect people in their own homes from the intrusion of wood smoke. There's a range of things that we all need to step up and start putting into place to make sure that we can clean our air.